Welcome back to The Luca Lifestyle, your guide to understanding health trends, fad diets, and food science. Now, my name is Madeline Lucas and I am an Australian dietitian. And the first thing that people want to know whenever they find out that what I studied for 5 years was health and diets is, what do you recommend for weight loss? Weight loss is the number one trending thing when it comes to health, pretty much always. There is always a new pill or diet or workout that will help you achieve your dream weight or dream body. And I decided with the new year upon us, what better time than now than to share with you my number one tip for weight loss. So here it is, a dietitian's number one tip to losing weight this new year. So whether or not you had weight loss or even be healthier as a resolution this year, hopefully you can learn something in today's video, and I will try to keep it short, sharp, and shiny, which is difficult for me because I just love to talk. Now, when it comes to the science of weight loss, the basic principle is that the energy in, so the energy you eat, should be less than the energy out. So that is the energy you expend through exercise or even just normal daily functions like breathing, blinking, and standing up. So that is the basic principle, but I'm actually not going to talk about this today because I will cover more about energy balance next week when we talk about calories, kilojoules, and what energy actually is. So today we're going to just forget all about this and move on to my personal favorite tip for losing weight. So while this was the most important basic principle, I actually prefer to give my clients, or in this case, my YouTube viewers, more practical strategies rather than just science. So today's strategy when it comes to weight loss is a very simple one, but perhaps an unpopular one. And that is to eat more vegetables. Now, if you're sitting there rolling your eyes, just think to yourself, would you rather consider the possibility of eating more vegetables, or do you want to do a 12-day juice cleanse? Do you want to try a cabbage diet? Do you want to try starving yourself 3 days a month? Now, hopefully, the concept of eating more vegetables actually sounds a little bit easier, a little bit, nicer, and quite honestly, a lot more achievable. So now let's discuss why this works. So point number one is that vegetables are low in calorie. Now this obviously is relative. Some vegetables such as celery, lettuce, cucumber are going to be a lot lower in calorie than, for example, starchy veg like potatoes, sweet potato, and even corn. But in general, vegetables are a lot lower in calories than other food groups such as grains, meat, dairy, and oils and fatty spreads. Similarly, when going out to eat at a restaurant, now of course this is not always, but a lot of the time when eating out at a restaurant, ordering the vegetarian or especially the vegan meal is going to be a lot lower in calorie and in saturated fat than the meat or dairy option. Now the reason I'm saying vegan and not just vegetarian is because a lot of times when someone is cooking a recipe or designing a recipe, when they take the meat out to kind of try to add the flavor back in, they will do that with butter or cheese or some other kind of highly fatty calorie food. This isn't to say that meat or cheese is bad for you in any way. I'm just saying that a lot of times they will, when they take out the meat, add in something else that is also quite high in calories. So if you are looking for a lower calorie alternative, the vegan option is usually that. And with that being said, you can actually eat a much larger portion when you are eating more vegetables and still be in a calorie deficit, which is what we were talking about at the start, where that is eating less food than the energy that you are expending in a day. And that is how you actually achieve weight loss as your end result. Now, if you could please just excuse my handwriting, I'm still getting used to writing on this whiteboard. But the second point I wanted to make is that veggies often have a lot of fiber in them, and fiber is one of the most underrated, in my opinion, tools when it comes to weight loss. And this is because consuming more fiber has been shown to increase satiety. And if you don't know what satiety is, it's essentially the opposite of hunger. They are two feelings that we get in our bodies, and of course hunger makes you want to eat, but satiety makes you feel full and want to stop eating. So eating more fiber actually helps to keep that full feeling in your stomach for longer. And of course, if you're feeling fuller for longer, for a lot of people at least, this will really help to stop or at least minimize the snacking between meals. And again, this isn't to say that snacking between meals is bad, but if you are suddenly feeling absolutely ravenous, you need to eat right then and there. Most of the time, the easier to grab faster foods are, packaged foods that are a lot more processed and not exactly the most nutritionally beneficial foods to be eating. So if you can keep your body feeling fuller for longer, that gives you a lot longer to plan out what you are going to be eating in a day, maybe give you a little bit more time to actually eat something with a little bit more nutrition within it, whether that's more protein, more fiber, again, more vegetables again, or, just gives you more time to think clearly about what you are going to be eating for your next meal. So now that we've talked about why, I just want to do a quick little rundown on how you can actually achieve this. So how can you eat more vegetables in a day, particularly if they're not your favorite or you're just not used to eating this way? Okay, so strategy number one, we've already briefly talked about this. This is when ordering out at a restaurant or fast food or something like that, order the veggie option. So whether that is the vegan option, vegetarian, or even if you are still eating a meat containing dish, but it is a salad that has a substantial amount of vegetables within it. So I'm not saying order a bacon and egg salad and it's a lot of bacon, some boiled eggs, and hardly any actual lettuce in it. That doesn't count. So ordering a salad that is veggie rich, or a vegan or vegetarian option when out. But if you don't eat out that often and you just want to save those meals out as more of a treat where you eat whatever you want, then that's totally fine. Especially if you're only eating out every now and then, changing what you do within your home is going to be a lot more beneficial. So tip number two is portion sizes. So a simple guide to remembering how much of each of the foods you should be eating in any given meal is, so a quarter of this plate should be meat or some other kind of protein. Last week I talked all about Veganuary, so if you are choosing plant-based foods, this quarter is going to be your protein-rich foods. So that is meat, eggs, tofu, beans, whatever it is that you're getting your protein from, that should fill a quarter. Another quarter is grains or carbohydrates. So this is where I want to quickly talk about potatoes. Unfortunately, they don't really count as a vegetable when it comes to this plate method. They count as a carb. So white potatoes, red potatoes, sweet potatoes, doesn't matter what kind, they all count as a carbohydrate and not as a veggie serve. But this whole half here should be made up of veggies. And if that seems like a lot to you right now, don't worry, you can build up to this, but trying to incorporate 3 different vegetables each meal, preferably 3 different colored veggies. So if you're eating, say, green peas, maybe you're having carrot and capsicum, that's 3 different colors right there, especially if it is a red capsicum. Or if you're doing a barbecue, for example, you could have beetroot, corn, and then maybe lettuce in a salad. So that is 2 different options for 3 different colors of veggies within one meal. So that way it doesn't seem so boring. If, for example, you were just eating half a plate full of green beans, now I know that personally wouldn't be that exciting to me, and while it's still going to be healthy to eat that, you're more better off by getting a variety of different colors, because that is how you get all your different vitamins and minerals and different levels of antioxidants. And number 3, which is something that I personally only started doing probably last year or the year before when I was in my final years of my dietitian placements, is snacking on veg. So if this seems unappealing to you, I totally get it. But if you're anything like me, after a long day of work, the last thing I wanted to do was come home and cook a 3-course meal with all of these different veggie side dishes. So I found that if I was snacking on veggies in the daytime, for example, bringing even just 1 carrot, chopping that up and dipping that in some hummus or some other kind of dip throughout the day, it's a great snack to have at your desk, really nutritious and really tasty in my mind. If you're not such a fan of raw carrot, you can do this with cucumber sticks, capsicum sticks, whatever you want, and then you have a great midday snack. Now, I was going to stop at just 3, but I realized that I haven't actually mentioned what I do most often, which is tip number 4, add to existing recipes. For example, all throughout high school and throughout my undergraduate degree at university, I was a huge fan of pasta. I would make a tomato-based pasta sauce pretty much weekly, and that was my after school, after work snack all the time. Yes, it was a whole extra meal, and I'm not going to get into the actual health benefits or lack of health benefits of that diet, but it was tasty, it was what I was familiar with, and I just loved to do it, and it became a habit. But then I started actually thinking about what I was eating and really realizing that I was lacking, again, in eating my veggies. So what I started to do was grate up a carrot or a zucchini, add some extra onion. I mean, I always add an onion, but that still counts as a veggie. I feel like people forget that onions and garlic are still technically vegetables. Or another thing I'd start doing is adding in lentils. Brown lentils taste great in pasta sauce, and in this context of fiber-rich foods that help you to fill up for low calorie, beans and legumes like lentils do count as veggies, even though they are also a protein source. So it can get a little bit confusing in areas like that where there are actually crossovers in the food groupings, but try not to think about it too much. All I wanted to say is that lentils were also great to add to my pasta sauce. So that is another way to easily keep eating foods that you love, but just add extra things into it that you won't necessarily even taste that much. Like personally, the carrot and the zucchini, if you grate it up and just add it to the sauce, yes, you notice it's there, but it definitely doesn't take away from the original flavor. If anything, it just adds a little bit of extra texture, and personally, I don't mind it. And again, it's all about just getting used to these new habits that are going to be better for you in the long run. So to summarize, eating more vegetables is an amazing way to not only improve your health, but also to achieve long-term weight loss. Reason number 1 being, of course, that veggies tend to be lower in calorie while also being very high in nutritional benefits when compared to some other food groups. And reason number 2 is that eating more fiber, which is found in veggies, helps to increase your feelings of satiety, which helps keep you feeling fuller for longer, and therefore are less likely to go after those mid-meal snacks that maybe aren't that great for you. And of course, some easy strategies to actually achieve the goal of eating more veg in a day are, number 1, when eating out at a restaurant, try to order the veggie option. Number 2 is to think about your portion sizes. And what I didn't mention before even is that if you serve yourself your veggies first, then you're less likely to overfill on the meat or protein or the carbohydrate section. Strategy number 3 is to snack on veggies throughout the day so that when it comes to dinner time, you're not left to consume all of your daily vegetables in one big go, because that can feel quite overwhelming. And finally, strategy number 4 is to try to add extra veggies into the meals that you already know and love. If you have any questions or comments about today's video or anything in general, maybe a video suggestion that you would like to see here on my channel, I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. Or of course, you can reach out to me on any of my social medias. I am The Luca Lifestyle here on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok, so follow me wherever you feel like. And of course, my website, thelucalifestyle.com, is always listed in the description box below. So head over there if you're interested in booking a one-on-one consultation, or if you want to purchase any ebooks or meal plans designed by me. I'm even doing a 50% sale on all my plant-based ebooks and meal plans over on the website for the entire month of January. So the code for that is Veganuary. If you are interested, go check it out. But that's it from me for today. I will see you next Monday with a brand new video. And of course, remember that health is not about a diet. It's a lifestyle. I'll see you next week.